stuff unless you're working with Jake, and then it's larger. But we'll start off with the thenar eminence. Everybody knows where that thenar eminence is, right? That thumb side. We're just going to feel, make sure that everything, like the muscle isn't atrophied. Make sure that everything just again feels like it's normal, like it should be. The scaphoid. Now we'll kind of back up. We'll kind of go out of order here. So first, before we find the scaphoid, we're going to find the anatomical snuff box. Right? We know where it is. How do we get our patient? We're doing a lot of that today. Hence the reason we're all over the place. How do we cue? Let's say our patient has a hard time or they don't understand what the snuff box is. How do we find it? How do we get them to just go like this? And then they're going to be like, what?
Make like a little gun with your thumb.
So we can resist the motion of extension, right? And as well as maybe a little bit of abduction, because we're getting the extensor pollicis longus and the abductor pollicis, all those muscles that we talked about earlier. So we can tell the patient, I just want you to kind of act like you're going to do a thumbs up, and I'm going to resist you. And as we resist and pull down, that anatomical snuff box pops right out. Okay? We're getting the extensor pollicis longus, right, on that more dorsal side. And it comes up and wraps around, what's that bony prominence on the radius? Lister's tubercle. Yeah, so hey, maybe it's his tubercle. Dang. Yeah, so if you find that extensor pollicis longus and you can follow it, and as soon as you hit it, I guess I shouldn't say as soon as you hit the radius, because it's a little bit farther on there. But you can find the radial styloid process and then just go more dorsal. There's a nice bony prominence that sticks up. You found it. Oh. Yep, Lister's tubercle. And so it kind of
have to add that to anatomy.
Yeah.
I don't think we're talking about that.
So there you go. You can add that in. Fun little tidbit in orthopedics. You'll learn about Lister's tubercle. Here it is, and then they'll forget about it, and then we'll have this conversation. And I'm gonna have somebody else who's be like, "Oh, you were in anatomy. I know they marketed it." So that Lister's tubercle, it does have a function. It makes it so it kind of gives an advantage to that extensor muscle, the extensor pollicis longus, by acting somewhat like a pulley, similar to the similar to the patella for the quads. Yes.
Have you ever heard of anybody avulsing that tubercle, like getting too much force through that in a second?
I never have. There's nothing that attaches to it. That's the thing, and so it's not getting a lot of
or with the
forceful pull.
Like if it gets too much, would the tendon like snap over the top of it? Would that be more likely?
I mean, if the sheath tore, because that would have to occur before it would allow it to, where the sheath became disconnected or something like that. But I think it would take a lot to get it to
Go for it.
up and over. That's not how it works. That's right on you.
If you come in with that cock up one.
I don't need one. What? I'm fine.
Okay. So that's our extensor pollicis longus is going to be on that dorsal border, right?
You guys are gross.
On the more volar or palmar side of that anatomical snuff box, we have our abductor pollicis longus and extensor pollicis brevis. Now, the fun thing about these is you might, so they can be hard to differentiate, but sometimes, because they run in the same compartment, right? And so they can be hard to differentiate. Exactly, compartment one. Look at this guy, he knows his stuff. On some people, it's a little easier. On Jake, it's pretty tough. But some people, you can actually palpate. So you see I can get my finger down.
Yeah, you can
in
see
there.
them.
Can you see down there as well?
When you go that way, you can see them separate.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so with the abductor, as you come out like that, it'll pop out a little bit more versus just going in straight extension. So you can actually differentiate between the abductor pollicis longus and the extension pollicis brevis. She's trying. Somewhere in there.
Can't get it. Nope.
Okay, so once we find our anatomical snuff box, and we know our borders and all that fun stuff, now we'll jump back up to the second thing that we're going to palpate, or that is listed there, the scaphoid. Okay, so if our patient makes, we give that anatomical snuff box, then essentially right where it sits, that soft spot, and that divot, where right in between the anatomical snuff box, where you know, put your happy stuff, right down in there is going to be our scaphoid. Okay? And if you take and put the patient into some ulnar deviation, you'll actually feel that scaphoid start to make kind of a presence. You'll be like, here I am. Here I am. Uh-huh.
But I'm feeling
It's sitting up,
alright.
because if I come across the radial head, right? So just off the radial head,
Go in the
And it doesn't feel
yep,
great.
just distal the radial head.
Go right inside the fat.
I was about to go put it down.
Yeah.
Well, it just.
Misha,